Good evening, everyone. My name is Gene Dougherty, and I grew up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, the soundtrack of my life was narrated by Harry Callis and Richie Ashburn. My grandfather was a baseball fan. Wherever he was, his transistor radio was close by him, with Callis and Ashburn's voices calling the action on the field. My grandfather was a man of very few words, but I could always engage him in conversation about the Phillies. He moved to Philadelphia after the Korean War, when he was stationed at the Philadelphia Navy Yard. He used to tell me stories about growing up in Omaha, Nebraska, with his cousin, Richie Ashburn. He and Richie had lost touch when Richie went off to fight in World War II, and later signed to play center field for the Phillies. For 30 years, my grandfather watched and later listened to his cousin Richie, but never again made contact. The two men spent a majority of their lives in Philadelphia, never to see each other again. After my grandfather died, I embarked on a journey to learn more about him and his family. My exploration into my family brought me back to Nebraska, and eventually to the Ashburn family. My great-grandmother's branch of the family tree took me farther into American history than I had ever expected. I was able to trace the Ashburn family back to my 10th great-grandfather, Peter Francis Ashburn, who moved to the Virginia colony from Cumberland, England. The Ashburn family was one of the first families to settle in the Virginia colony and would be the name bearers of Ashburn County, later the town of Ashburn, Virginia, in Loudoun County. The Virginia Humanities supports projects that explore the stories of Virginia, its history, people, communities, and cultural traditions. The aim of the Virginia Humanities is to share the stories of all the Virginians and to find ways for people to share their own stories. In an effort to connect people of Virginia with their history and culture, my grant proposal would seek funding for further research into the Ashburn family and their place in the history of Virginia. The Virginia Humanities offers grants to fund digital and multimedia platforms. My proposal would fund the production of a podcast or a video documentary production. I believe this proposal would meet the goals of the Virginia Humanities by documenting a lesser-known Virginia story in an effort to engage Virginians as well as displaced Virginians in the story of their home state. Thank you.